get down to at least 180 just to start. We're going to do this slowly. Alright, so as you can see, I have posted a weigh-in video, and I did 4 months of weigh-ins, and I'm going to explain what I did through those 4 months and what I stopped doing and what I started doing. So the first thing I stopped doing. Alright, so the first thing I stopped doing, I wrote down 5 things what I stopped doing and 5 things what I started doing, and I wrote them all down, so I'm going to look at my notes. Okay, the first thing I stopped doing was I stopped going to the grocery store hungry. That was really bad for me. I mean, I would just get up and go to the grocery store being hungry, and then I would shop for everything that I was craving and then go home and eat it. So that was the first thing I stopped doing. And so in flipping that, what I started doing was I started eating before I went to the grocery store so that I wouldn't crave a lot of things. And so that worked out pretty good for me. And I would stick to my list of foods that I would write down. And when I go to the grocery store, I said, I'm sticking to this list no matter what. If I did eat and I'm full and I'm at the grocery store, and if I'm craving something, I would fight the urge. Just fight it, that's all. Okay, so the second thing I stopped doing was that I stopped eating after 6 p.m. or the latest 6:30 p.m. When I get off work, I make sure I have something, small to eat, because during the day I am eating heavy. So my breakfast is pretty heavy, large protein packed meal, and then my lunch is pretty large, high protein packed. So I'm full by the time I get home. So, when I get home, I may eat maybe an avocado, or maybe, and I'm not even lying, I will eat a bowl of popcorn too as well, or maybe a piece of fish, or anything that I can just put in my belly, just, so that I won't go to bed hungry. I cannot stand going to bed hungry either. Alright, so that's what I stopped doing for that. Let me look at my notes. And let's see, and in flipping that, I just started eating my heaviest meal close to 3 p.m. so that, by the time I get home, I'm not super hungry, but I will eat something small. So that's what I started doing. And then number 3, this is a big one for me, and this is literally killing me. It's not killing me, but all right, let's just get to it. Number 3, I stopped drinking alcohol beverages every weekend. Man, so I love me a certain drink. Oh my goodness, this drink right here it just has me loving it. But I had to cut it down. Every weekend is excessive, and I do go overboard when I do drink. So I had to stop doing that and just cut it down. They say it takes 30 days to form a habit. So far, I'm doing great. I even went to a couple of functions and I didn't even drink. So I mean, I'm just sticking to water for now. Okay. I don't have a flip side of that. So let's see. Number 4. I stopped eating carbs the first thing I put in my stomach. Now this is huge for me because I used to wake up, Then I would go get a cup of coffee and then eat some pretzels. That was my breakfast for a while. And those were all carbs. The first thing in my stomach, and sugar. So what I started doing on the flip side of that was my first meal of the day is pure protein. That's it. And I see a big difference when I have done that, when I started doing that. So yeah, number 4, I stopped eating carbs, first thing I put in my stomach. And on the flip side of that, what I started doing was I started eating protein the first thing in my stomach in the morning. Okay, so the next one is I stopped snacking so much at work. You know, I have so many habits. So, snacking. Okay, so I would snack on peanuts. I would snack on chips. I would snack on pretzels. Snack on this, snack on that. You know, and I work at a job that we are constantly eating. They are constantly eating, putting things in the kitchen. And when you go in the kitchen, you see all this good stuff in there. And I'm like, okay, I can't. I have to stop that. So yes, I have stopped snacking so much, especially at work. Okay, and then I don't have a flip side of that either. So I'm going to skip to the things what I started doing. I already gave you 3 what I started doing, which is I eat before I go to the grocery store. I started eating my heaviest meal close to 3 p.m. so I don't go home, you know, hungry. And then, what's the other thing? I forgot. But anyways, so what I started doing, number 3, I started walking more with my weight vest. And I'm going to start working out maybe 2 days a week when I get off work and going into the gym that they have at my apartment complex. So yeah, I started walking more, and I have a weight vest that I have, and I put that on and I walk 4 times around my apartment complex, and I love it. Oh, I know what I forgot. On the flip side of what I stopped doing, I started eating protein meals, you know, the first thing I put in my stomach. So that's number 4. And let's see, what's the next one? I started eating the same thing. I know it sounds boring. It is boring. I started for the week, when I make my meals, I meal prep, and I eat that every day for 4 to 5 days, no matter what. I know I be wanting to go get me some foods outside of my meal prep, but I can't do it because that's a craving. So I just started eating the same food that I cook for the week every single day, and it's working out. So I'm gonna stay on this journey, and we're gonna see how it goes. And I'm just gonna have to dig my heels in, and we'll see. You see the progress. So I'm loving it. I like my progress. You know, if I stop now, gotta start over. You guys have a great day, great week, and let's do this. Bye.